Michal is one of the few entrepreneurs that are working on making rock climbing a better experience. And he has an app called First Ascent. It has over 6,000 precise GPS locations of various outdoor climbs. Using the app is pretty straightforward. Click the search icon and search for alligator scales. Click the target icon and walk towards the pin as shown on the map. Michal, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so first off, can you tell the audience more about yourself? How long have you been climbing, stuff like that?
Sure. So I actually first moved to the United States from Poland when I was 19. And rock climbing is not that popular in Poland, especially, in the area I'm from, which is like right in the middle of the country. So I didn't hear much about rock climbing until I got here. And I got really fascinated with it originally like when I was in San Diego in community college. And then when I joined UCLA, they had a rock climbing gym on campus, which was part of the reasons why I joined the school. And I ended up doing it very frequently. So that was my intro to it, I think. And I'm doing it until today, although recently I don't have as much time for it as I wish.
And how did you come up with the idea of First Ascent? Like, what makes you want to start this project, and what's the reason?
Sure. So I think that, I had this idea for a very long time. I originally came up with it when I was at UCLA, but it's just, I was really stressed out about school back then, and, I was paying international tuition, and it's like, I was basically going to school and then working overtime. So I didn't really have time to pursue it. And then after that, I was trying to pay off my loans. So it was way more important for me to just pursue my career and try to spend as much time as possible with my work. And about 2 years ago, I was starting to feel financially stable, and I felt like I can pursue something, for myself. And I decided to kind of go back to it and try to see whether I can make something happen.
How long have you been working on this app, and how many daily users do you have?
Sure. So I've been working on this app for a little bit over 2 years. I have about 2,000 downloads, and I have roughly half of them are active, not daily, but on like a 30-day running basis.
And then so for all the audience that climbs outdoor before, they will definitely want to ask you this question. What's the difference between First Ascent and Mountain Project?
So I think that there's two biggest differences. It's a mobile-first app, and it was from the very beginning. And I think that in a way, like Mountain Project, their mobile experience was always like a second thing that they just added on, and it's not really focused on that, right? And the second thing is, it was very important for me for the data to be consistent. So one of the qualms that I have with existing products like Mountain Project is that you never know what you're gonna get. And a lot of times you end up just searching through a bunch of things that are not very useful because you can't find them, there's no pictures, there's no GPS location. The data varies very much. So it's important to kind of create an experience where all of the climbs are at the same level of consistency. Like all of them have GPS location, all of them have pictures, and the app kind of enforces that.
For people interested in doing an app, they would like to know, how do you acquire new users? Because that's a
Sure, that is a very tough problem. And I think it's especially difficult for rock climbing because it's a smaller community.
Right.
And it's also like traditional advertising doesn't seem to work very well in that community because they're kind of adverse to it. So I'm definitely still struggling with this part. I'm trying to, promote it through like non-traditional channels. I'm trying to be active on forums. But I think that strangely enough, the most successful thing is word of mouth and just building a great product and hoping that it's going to spread because it's very difficult to target.
Yeah, and do you have numbers about like retention rate? Because acquiring users is one thing. How to keep them using the app, that's another metric.
So I think that the retention rates are actually very high. I think people that try the app like it on average. I think I have very high keep the app on your phone rates, like probably around 50%. Getting them actually engaged and active on day-to-day basis is a different story, mostly because people don't do climbing that often. Like most of the users just don't go out every day. So how do you keep them in? And that's it's a nice problem to have in a way, because when you start thinking about getting the engagement to be more rapid, you already succeeded to a degree, and I'm not there yet.
Do you ever thought of monetizing?
So actually the app is somewhat monetized. There is an in-app currency. Basically, everything in the app is free except for downloads. So if you want to use the app without network connection, you have to either purchase currency or you can acquire currency for contributing to the app. So if you're an active member, you never have to pay for anything. You basically get 10 free downloads for each route you contribute, and it's as simple as taking a picture, right? So you can actually contribute a lot if you want to, but if you don't want to do that, then you can just spend money.
So can you share with us how many percentage of the number of the users are paying? Because let's say like games, there's a saying that 1% of the users actually pays for.
It's pretty consistent, right? So I think about 1% of my users ever spend money on it. I think though that I have an advantage in a way, because if the app gets going, the more content it has, the more incentive there is to actually spend it. It becomes more and more useful.
It's like a network effect, right, in a sense. So have you thought about giving up? Because like building an app and acquiring users and going through the road, it's really tough.
It's definitely difficult, and I definitely do have thoughts sometimes about like moving on to other projects because it's not like the only idea I have. And I think what keeps me in is there is some people in the community that actually really enjoy the app and find it very useful. So it's like feels very bad and disappointing to like just drop it and like not support it anymore. So I really want to do it for them in a way. Initially, it's very important to just believe in your product, and despite whether like if it's not working, like just push through it until you get to a point where you can start believing in it again. But right now it's mostly like the active users and people that actually enjoy it.
And then the next thing is, I'm pretty sure when you're building this app along the way, there got to be some obstacles that you encounter. Can you give us some example of the obstacles and how you overcome them?
Sure. So there's definitely a lot of obstacles when you're trying something. But I think like the two that really burned into my mind is one was actually like location. The entire idea for the app from the very beginning was like, I'm going to have accurate location, right? And like all of the routes are going to be findable. And if you can find something in the app, you can actually climb it, right? It was actually really surprising to me how inconsistent the location data is. And depending on the device you're looking at, it can be wildly inaccurate. Like I spent a lot of time twiddling with the algorithm to try to find the correct way to acquire location where it's actually useful enough. So that was like the technical challenge.
How did you verify the correctness of the location?
So actually, originally my brother was adding a lot of routes. So I could actually see, like you have GPS images and you can actually see how close the location is. And I also collect a lot of extra information. I don't only collect GPS location, but I collect all of the locations that are being tracked over time and how accurate the app claims they are being. So later on, when you analyze the data, you can kind of see like the device is completely not telling you the truth about what's happening.
You mentioned that you actually still have a full-time job and this is kind of a side project. So how do you balance your energy and time between the two? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have a 9-to-5 job and when they work and they come back home, they just want to rest. Like they cannot find the energy to do something else. Like,
Sure.
How did you manage to balance it?
Sure. So I think that, you have to love what you do and you kind of have to believe in it. It's like part of the trick. And the other part of the trick is that I'm a bit of a workaholic. Like it's very difficult for me to actually like enjoy just chillaxing. So I have a limit of how much time I can spend doing stuff that's just not productive until I get really anxious. So I guess in a way for me, it's like a way to deal with my anxiety. Rather than trying to force myself to do it. I'm fortunate and unfortunate in that way, I suppose. So.
What's the long-term vision for you for this project? Like, how do you see the app evolve in, say, the next 5 years, next 10 years?
I would want two things to happen. First of all, I would want it to become kind of a social node for you when you're at the crag. So like a lot of times right now, like all of the social networks and stuff, like people use it when they have like internet connection and they actually like locally at home. I think it would be really interesting to like have something that not only helps you find climbs, but also help you find other people that are climbing things at the same difficulty level and try to connect you with people when you're already there. So that's kind of like one thing that I'm hoping to get, and there's like a lot of technology that you can use there. And the other thing that I'm really hoping for is for this to always stay like upfront with the new technology. So there's like really cool things that you can use with augmented reality, where you can show people where the bolts are. Like I've seen people, and I struggled with it myself a lot of times, that you know how the route goes, you have the picture, and you start going up the route, and you're like, where the heck is my next clip, right? Like I just can't find it. Right. So being able to just like put your camera on the rocks and see where the clips are and things like that, I would really want to like get involved with that if I can, and then get it.
Yeah, I think these both 2 points are really interesting to me, because when I outdoor climb, I definitely want to climb with friends, because if you climb alone, it's more dangerous. Like no one spot you, stuff like that.
For sure.
And the thing is, your friends, they might say, go to the Bay Area, go to Seattle, go to different places. So
yeah, and especially climbers, like they don't plan ahead that much. Like a lot of times it's just like, let's go and hang out. And
That's
like
right.
if you forget to inform your friends that you're going, they might be at the same location, but you will never know, right? So it's kind of like helping with that aspect of it would be really nice.
I remember I saw something in Reddit, some people doing a project about using photogrammetry to reconstruct the 3D model of various classic routes. How do you see?
Yeah, so I'm definitely interested in that. Like when I was looking at it right now, I feel like technology is not quite there yet. Like the effort required versus like the actual usability of the product is not there yet. But I think in like a couple of years, I think it's going to be a prime place to start investing in things like that.
For our closing question, do you have any suggestions for people who also want to start something, and then maybe rock climbing related or not rock climbing related, like entrepreneurship work?
So I think that there's two things that are really important. Like pick something that you're really passionate about, either passionate about the product and technology or passionate about the customer. But if you're just passionate about being successful, like that's not enough to carry you through those dark days when you feel like everything is gonna fail. So I think it's very important to have that. And then the other thing is an advice that I didn't follow myself is don't go at it alone. Like find someone that can partner up with you. I think it's kind of important to have another person to cross-motivate you. And it's not even like that important for them to be on par with you. Like it's fine that you're feeling like they're not contributing 50% or something. Like don't worry about that. If stuff succeeds, the upside is going to take care of itself, like they say. Right. So I think it's more important to just have someone that's also excited about the project and are willing to work hard and is just contributing to it. It's just much easier to succeed this way.
Be sure to check out First Ascent. It's an amazing app for me. Whenever I go outdoor rock climbing, I always use First Ascent. So you know what, guys? You should give it a try.
Please do.
Yes. And thanks for watching. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.